So 12 years ago, on July 6, 2012, I created my YouTube channel. In the early days, I didn't really do that much with it. Played a little bit of Minecraft here and there, played other games. I believe I uploaded my first Pokemon video on this channel like that following October or somewhere around there. But from 2012 to I want to say like 2019, I wasn't really doing it too much. I wasn't taking it too seriously. Then in 2019, started uploading more. And in 2020, I uploaded my biggest video ever. Arguably one of the best Pokemon videos ever made. I am a little bit biased because I did make the video. Beating Pokemon, how Nintendo intended. Of course, this was inspired by a Minecraft video that I saw by Mystery Or, where they picked up this Minecraft book and played Minecraft how Mojang intended it. And I thought, as I thought with a lot of videos at the time, and still do think of from time to time, even now, how can I adapt this to Pokemon? And I did it, and it did really well, and it pretty much launched my entire channel ever since this video. Nearly 2 million views after almost 4 years. My most viewed video by almost like double. I think my next most viewed video has just under 1 million views, and I think it's the Diamond and Pearl Nintendo intended video. And if it wasn't for this video, I probably would not still be doing YouTube today. I know it sounds cliche. I almost definitely would not be doing it as a full-time job, but there is a very real possibility that if this video never came out, I would not still be doing YouTube 4 years later. So I, of course, want to thank everyone for supporting the video ever since it came out, people who came after the video, before the video, if you just joined yesterday, if you just joined a year ago. Really do appreciate that. It does mean a lot. And today, since the anniversary of the channel, I thought we would look at my most viewed video and react to it. I haven't watched this video in a while. I remember Jack or Purple Cliff made a reaction video to it, probably like, at this point, probably like 3 years ago. And I remember watching it back then and reacting to his reaction. And I remember Mikey from MJTV made a reaction video as well. And both those reaction videos also helped the channel tremendously. Just having bigger channels watch my video helped a lot. So let's just get into it. I haven't seen this in a while, like I said, and hopefully I don't cringe too much watching my own videos, because I don't watch my own videos a lot after they're uploaded. Beating Pokemon how Nintendo intended it to be. Okay, so right there, super minor thing, but I said the title of the video at the start of the video. The reason why I did that, and I have no idea if there's any truth to this, or if it was at the time or if it's true now, but I remember hearing this thing where if you said the title of the video at the start of the video, it would somehow help with the analytics and the back-end metadata. No idea if that's true, but there's a lot of weird YouTube superstitions that I still follow. That's not one of them anymore, but it's just funny to see that again. A lot of games as a kid, like Mario Sunshine, The Wind Waker, and Sonic Heroes, but one thing that I still get comments how I say Mario, apparently. I never actually finished them. I would get lost or stuck at one point of the game without knowing how to get through it, and since I was a kid and the internet was still pretty new at the time, I couldn't easily Even my voice, I feel like I sound so much younger then. I feel like now my voice is definitely a lot calmer and a little bit deeper even. But back then, like you could tell that I sounded younger. And at this time, I wasn't that young. When this video came out, I was like 25. Okay, I'm almost 29 now. But never actually read through the whole thing and read about exactly how they wanted you to beat the game. If you don't know what a strategy guide was, since they're not really around anymore, they were basically just a guide that told you exactly how to beat the game. I just used these guides. Don't see these guides anymore. Had to buy the Japanese ones, Scarlet and Violet, because they never released them. Last English one released was Sword and Shield. Guide made by Mojang and used. There's the video I was talking about, the Minecraft one from Mystery Or. So in typical PokeTuber fashion, I'm going to take somebody else's idea from another game and completely spin it into Pokemon like it's original. I have this prime... So that last bit there, like I was talking about a little bit earlier, it is true. A lot of times I see videos from other games, Minecraft, whatever, even not Minecraft, even NBA 2K. Sometimes I see NBA 2K videos, be like, ooh, how can I adopt this to Pokemon? And that's what I did with that Minecraft video. And I remember when this video came out, I didn't know how well it would do, but I thought it would have a chance to do pretty well. And I remember watching it back a couple of times, and I like very rarely watch my own videos back multiple times before they're uploading, but I remember thinking like, wow, this is really good. I think there's a chance to get like 10,000 views, which at the time was really, really good. I don't think I had very many videos with more than 10,000 views at the time. And in less than a day, it had 20,000 views. I remember my friend Powder messaged me and he was like, yo, your video has 20,000 views. It's only been up for like 24 hours. And I couldn't believe it. And then the video kept climbing, of course. And when I saw that video climb, or this video climbing, I remember thinking, I really want to make a follow-up. I want to make more. And this is going to sound terrible. And I don't know how to put this eloquently, but the biggest reason why I wanted to make a second video is because if I had 2 Pokemon Nintendo intended videos up on my channel, if somebody else were to upload a Pokemon Nintendo intended video, they couldn't claim that they were the ones that started doing for Pokemon, which I know sounds terrible, but sometimes when it comes to YouTube, and Pokemon specifically, somebody has an idea and then other people are inspired by that idea, which is fine, and then kind of run with it. And then the original person that had the idea is kind of like left in the dust. We've seen that with some other genres of videos that happened in the past for Pokemon. But luckily, I was able to get the second one out in a short amount of time. And the second one on Ruby and Sapphire was really good as well.
On Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, which does have the Nintendo official...
Oh, and I kept calling it Prima. Apparently it's Prima. Genuinely didn't know.
Nintendo endorses this product, and that somebody at Nintendo somewhere read through this guide and thought, yup, that's how you beat Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green on the Game Boy Advance. I took a quick look at this guide before making this video, and it's...
I don't even have a tripod here. I'm just holding my phone.
Even from type advantages to where to catch every Pokemon. As a kid, I cut out the page that had all the berries.
Infamous berry page.
Unless we need to do something involving...
I still don't know why I cut the berry page out, and it's been a meme on my channel ever since.
Fire are apparently super effective against poison. I really don't think they proofread these things out.
Okay, this one, I have to go back a second so you guys can see that exactly what it said. Okay, there's a lot of weird comments on this video. So this line of text from the guide says, get your Pokemon who are strongest against poison types, Psychic, Fire, and Rock. Now, of those latter three types, the only things that hit Poison super effective are Psychic. The amount of mental gymnastics in the comments to justify Fire and Rock hitting Poison super effective because there's Fire type Pokemon with Ground type moves, or there's Fire type moves that hit Poison type super effective because there's Poison and Grass type. The bottom line is, the guide is saying that Poison is weak to Fire and Rock, which is just not true. So a lot of weird comments on this video I'm going to address throughout, but that's just the one that irked me the most.
They proofread these things at all. Alright, so let's just actually start up a brand new save on Pokemon Fire Red and see what the guide tells us to do.
Of course, the Game Boy intro.
The strategy guide is pretty straightforward at the start.
Oh, and I have the gameplay stretched. So nowadays, I have the gameplay in like the normal resolution, but this time I just stretch it out because I didn't know what to put in the background.
And it also said to pick the starter I liked the most, so I picked Bulbasaur. I named it
Bulbasaur's still my favorite, if you couldn't tell. Bulbasaur is my favorite. Got this little Bulbasaur drawing you can't really see. Bulbasaur plush. Bulbasaur pot thing. Big fan of Bulbasaur.
And I hammered away to win my rival battle.
The first hammer away.
Said, got the parcel, caught a Pidgey, named it Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, by the way. Link in the description.
Follow me on Twitter. Link in the description. Not only you guys follow me on Twitch too while we're at it, because I've been streaming more. A lot of my videos that I make now, I just stream the gameplay live on Twitch and then edit that down instead of just recording on my own. Although I am recording this on my own because it's a reaction. But you know what? Just follow me on Twitch and stuff.
And headed to Route 22 since it suggests that I catch a Pokemon here before the optional rival battle, although it doesn't tell me that the battle is optional. I caught a Mankey and named it Hawk, and then leveled up my
I named this
Pokemon
Mankey Hawk
7 and 9.
From 7 Deadly Sins, because the character Hawk from 7 Deadly Sins, because at the time I'm not really into anime now, but I was back then. And so many comments thought it was about Hawk from Cobra Kai, which at the time I haven't seen. I've seen Cobra Kai since. I love Cobra Kai. So good. Ralph Macchio, one of my favorite actors. Karate Kid, classic. Cobra Kai. New season comes out soon, like a week or so. Anyway, I caught Dan the Caterpie here.
There's only one event in Pewter City, and according to the guide, it reads, there is only one event in Pewter City, but you can visit the nearby gym for 50 Pokédollars.
I know they meant the lab, but still.
The Pokeball noted on the map is invisible, so search the area for it. You won't be able to proceed to the east till you complete the gym leader battle, so head for the gym. What?
Oh my gosh. That was recorded off of a Logitech C920 webcam, which is like the most basic webcam that people use. And now I have like an actual proper camera. And also, I'm not gonna show it. You guys can go back and see me. Why did I shave the mustache back then? Why did I do that? Why did I think that was a good idea? It was not a good idea. Past me. Leave the facial hair. Leave it. Don't shave the mustache. Leave it.
Wording to be really awkward and I'm not really sure what it means, but I headed into the gym battle anyway against Brock, and the guide says to have Pokemon between levels 11 to 13, so I do just that. Subscribe and Hawk handle the gym pretty easily, although surprisingly the guide doesn't tell me anything about type advantages or what types Brock's Pokemon are, so I just hammer away at him again.
Second hammer away.
I don't know why I keep saying hammer away.
Just keep hammering away.
And on the way, it specifically tells me not to buy the Magikarp.
I disagree with this. Always buy the Magikarp if you can. It's a Magikarp. I freaking love Magikarp.
always buy the magic card.
Yes.
It's a tradition for me whenever
Still
I
a
play
tradition.
Kanto-based game. But since the guy...
Just like Lotad's my tradition in a Hoenn-based game, Magikarp's my tradition in a Kanto-based game.
Easily, as the guy tells me exactly where to go, which is pretty cool. Pick up the Dome Fossil because I prefer Chaos, and teach Hawk Mega Punch.
The funny thing is, people thought that me getting the fossil was an ode to another YouTuber who apparently like always talks to the fossil. That was just from Twitch Plays Pokemon. Yeah, the guy didn't tell me to battle the rival first. Told me to go to Misty first. Which like isn't inaccurate, but I feel like you probably should go up north first to grind.
Since my Bulbasaur evolved to Ivysaur at this point, so that's 2 badges down already. So after beating Misty, I head north to fight Nintendo. Never thought I'd ever say that sentence, but it...
Oh man, there's so many layers behind that last sentence now. Just with where I am now and with content creation and my relationship with like Nintendo, the Pokemon company. Just not gonna get into that.
Able to clean up. I was a little scared of this Abra, but thanks to the handy dandy guide, I looked up
Only has
Abra's
teleport.
level up moveset, and apparently it has no moves to hit Ivysaur, so that was pretty easy. Charmander was the same, it was level 18 and didn't even evolve yet. What's up with that, Nintendo? So I beat the rival anyway, and now I have to head towards Route...
I was definitely more monotone back then. I still am relatively monotone, but back then, like, a lot more. I think my voice is a lot more confident now, I guess is the better way to put it.
Events for us to do in this city. First, we have to get the VS Seeker from this trainer at the Pokemon Center. We'll probably never...
Okay, another thing. VS Seeker. There's a card in the Pokemon trading card game with the same name, and everyone just calls it the VS Seeker. But apparently, in the video game, people call it the Versus Seeker, because VS is short for Versus. Both make sense, but there were so many comments mad at me for calling it the VS Seeker, but that's what the card was always called. People just called it the VS Seeker, not the Versus Seeker. But in the game, it's the Versus Seeker. So it's just weird how the card game and video games have different terminologies.
Although the guide warns me about Nintendo's powered-up Kadabra, since it is quite fast. It tells me just to be faster than the Kadabra if I
Sound
want to beat
advice.
it. Wish I thought of that
Love
myself.
to see that.
Thanks, Nintendo. I beat my rival.
I have to say, I love the sassiness of this guide. Like, this guy, the person who wrote it, just did not care. They just wrote however they felt. Where now they're, like, so mechanical and, like, specific and meticulous and, like, not really that funny. This one was so funny. And I'm glad it was the first one that I picked. So I was between this and Ruby and Sapphire, and this one was such a good guide to pick first. And then here, yeah, it doesn't tell me to get Diglett in the Diglett Cave, which would have been a lot of help versus Surge.
These games before I battle Lieutenant Surge first, as the guide suggests. I buy some paralyzed heals, it tells me to do that as well. And aside from getting paralyzed and double teamed so much, the gym really wasn't that bad. Now at this point, the guide gets a little confusing for me. It says that on Route 11, east of Vermilion City, I should go left and enter the Pokemon Center to heal.
Yeah, it made some mistake. It was like the wrong route number, or it showed the wrong picture or something like that. I don't really know what it meant. This is another bone I have to pick. Okay, so the whole premise of this video, right, is to play Pokemon as if I've never played it before. And the guide doesn't tell me to get Flash. So meaning I have to go through Rock Tunnel blind. If I've never played this game before, I want to get Flash so I can go through with seeing. So many comments are like, well, when I played this game, I went through Rock Tunnel without being able to see, and I didn't have a problem. It's like, my brother in Christ, is it a crime that I want to see when playing a video game? Like, is it wrong for me to say that the guide probably should have told you to get Flash? Like, can we agree that it makes more sense to do that? Am I just being annoying, complaining too much? Probably, but that's just how I feel.
Look it up online as easily as they could today. Luckily,
oh, that's another thing. Okay, this is probably actually the biggest gripe that I have with the comments of this video. I'm complaining so much. I'm so sorry. But in this video, I mentioned how back when this game came out, 2004 and the years prior, and even a couple of years after, it was a lot harder to find information on how to beat video games. If you didn't have this book, yes, you could go online. And yes, there were websites like GameFAQs, which had some text-based guides that told you how to beat the game. But nowadays, right, let's say I'm playing a game right now. I'm playing a game on, pretend this is Nintendo Switch, and I am lost, and I don't know where to go. Pull up my phone, look at a YouTube video, and it tells me exactly where to go. If it is 2004 and I'm playing Pokemon Ruby version, I can't do that. And if I were to look it up on a computer, it would not be a video. Therefore, me saying it was a lot harder back in the day to look things up online, I think that's true. But there's a lot of people that are like, oh, well, you could have just went on GameFAQs in 1999. It's like, yes, you could have, but I also could have not had internet in 1999 because I was a baby. I'm complaining too much, chat. I'm sorry. I gotta write my own guide, chat. I have to. Nintendo would absolutely take it down. But I gotta write my own guide. It would be such a good guide. I probably can't legally sell it or legally show like Pokemon imagery. But I know I would do a good job.
It just seemed really fitting at the time. Headed into Rock Tunnel, and either this map is terrible or I have no idea how to read a map. Most likely
No, I don't know how to read maps. Yeah, I absolutely just botched this.
Turns out I actually entered
I was looking at it backwards, actually, I
on
think.
the part of the map that's labeled the exit level, not the entrance level, and there's only 2 levels that you switch between.
There's such a glare. Why is there such a glare?
There's quite a lot to do in Celadon City now, like get this free Eevee, or steal it, because this guy's kind of just standing there and lets me
Stealing
take it.
that
I
Eevee.
don't really know why that happens. I immediately get a Water Stone as well and evolve into Vaporeon since I don't have a Water
This was
Stone.
before the Vaporeon memes, chat, so don't be weird.
Somewhere down the road. I also get the coin case and gamble like the guy tells me to, although you don't really need to gamble at all to progress in the game. I give the girl on top of the department store some drinks as well in hopes of getting a good TM like Ice Beam for my new Vaporeon, as the guy says I could get Ice Beam. I named the Vaporeon.
I think Ice Beam's only in red, blue, and yellow.
There are no random encounters in the Team Rocket hideout, so all fights are at your own discretion, in parentheses, where possible. Which literally translates to, all of the fights are optional except for...
People commented about this too, and they were saying, oh, they meant wild encounters. But I still don't think that makes a lot of sense, because there's just no wild encounters, whatever. And the battles aren't all optional, because there's some Rocky Grunts you just can't avoid.
Kangaskhan of all Pokemon.
That Kangaskhan's no joke, though.
Time at the start of the battle, which makes me realize that these older Pokemon games really aren't any harder than newer games as people say, but the Kangaskhan does give me a bit of trouble. I thought Hawk, being a fighting type, would one-shot it, but nope, Hawk got one-shotted instead. The guy tells me to start hammering away.
Keep on hammering away, boys.
I keep saying that for nearly every important battle, but I'm able to do it and defeat Giovanni and get the Silph Scope so we can head back to Lavender Town. Since I have Twitter, this is a breeze, and I lay down the law, as the guy suggests.
Lay down the law? I haven't used that one in a while.
I
start using that again.
And Pidgeotto continues to be the hard carry of my team throughout this game. I dispatched my rival.
Dispatch the rival, of course. I don't remember Pidgeotto being that good for me in this playthrough.
Hammer for once.
Although I don't really remember the team that I used in this playthrough, honestly.
The guide completely ignores Cycling Road at this point, and looking ahead, I still don't see anything about Cycling Road in the guide.
I thought that was weird. Like, sure, you could just go around the long way, and it's probably better because you get more trainers and more encounters that you could battle. But it is weird to just completely ignore the Cycling Road.
I think it would have made way more sense to have me go down Cycling Road since it's quicker, easier.
Since this video, though, when I go through Kanto, I do go through the right side a lot more now than I used to, where in the past, I would always go to Cycling Road.
Like psychic types and
I'm not going to say it again. I'm not going to say it again.
Even though I start the battle with Koga, and let's have a little fun and guess what the guide tells me to do against Koga. Does it tell me to A, dispatch him, B, lay down the law, or C, hammer away? The answer is C.
It's going to be hammer away.
Hammer away is always the answer when you're in a Pokemon battle. The guide also
always
suggests
hammer away.
that I use poison-type Pokemon against Koga's poison types, especially his Muck, so I don't get toxicked because it's a very bad form of poison. Now, while this would...
That's not technically wrong, because you have a poison type on a poison type, you wouldn't get poisoned, but also a poison type can't hit another poison type very effectively, so it doesn't really help that much.
Pidgeot and Vaporeon make this very easy, and at the end I'm rewarded between the choices of one of 2 Pokemon. The options are Hitmonchan, one of the coolest Pokemon in existence, and Hitmonlee.
I don't know why I have them backwards there when I showed them. Hitmonchan at this point was one of my favorite Pokemon, and I don't know why. I don't really think about it a lot since then, but in 2020 I loved Hitmonchan.
It even goes in on his Execute and a little bit on his Growlithe for some reason, saying, quote, Execute is, well, a sad joke. And if it thinks it's gonna help against the Elite Four, it needs its head examined.
Dang.
Pretty much the same goes for Growlithe though. It can be tricky against your Grass-type Pokemon, so watch it.
That's
not sure what
brutal.
Whoever wrote this has against Execute and Growlithe, but the rival battle was pretty easy and wasn't much of a threat. After the battle, I speak to this chap, as the guide calls them, to get this Lapras.
Later I found out the guide writer is apparently British, so a lot of the terminology makes a lot more sense.
Says how this fight isn't too bad, and how, quote, his Nidorino and Rhyhorn should go down fairly easily because their levels at this point are no match for a decent electric, water, or grass type. Seeing as I have a Vaporeon and a Venus— wait a second, did it say electric type? It did, didn't it?
Electric type for a ground type, the classic. Just like Ash in the anime. Keep on hammering away.
Haven't heard that in a little while.
I gotta pause this for a second. So, Recently, I probably should have been wearing it for this video. I'll put a picture up somewhere here. Recently, I launched merch with a legally distinct shiny blue blob character that may or may not resemble a Pokemon. That was not my intention, I swear. If you want to get one of these shirts, link in the description. I think they're really cool. I was thinking about doing some sort of merch design for Nintendo Intended. Either like something with Hammer Away, but I feel like a shirt that's just Hammer would be weird. Or just a shirt that says like Nintended, but like the very obvious issue of doing one that says Nintended is copyright. I feel like if I had a shirt with a Nintendo logo that just said Nintended, Nintendo would not like that. So if you have any suggestions or comments, let me know.
It's time for Giovanni's Nidoqueen, which is one of his strongest Pokemon as of right now. The guide proceeds to tell me that Nidoqueen is easily cooked with a fairly well-powered electric Pokemon, but I don't have an electric
types on grounds, of course.
Queen is a ground type, so electric types won't help at all. That's the second time in this section alone that it tells you to use an electric type against a ground type. I finish up with Giovanni's battle pretty easily regardless, get the Master Ball, and now we have to head to Sabrina's gym to fight her. I get my Pokemon to around level 40 as the guide suggests, and follow the map to Sabrina through the teleporters. I thought it was funny how the guide also suggests I destroy the trainers before Sabrina.
You gotta destroy them, not just defeat them.
Savage as we get on to the later half of this game. My Vaporeon has Bite, so this gym really isn't too bad since it's mostly psychic types, but it warns me about Sabrina's Alakazam. It says, it's fast, and many of its moves can lay waste to your intrepid band in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. I have no idea what that means, but I get
the birth of 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. That is a very British phrase, apparently. I've come to learn after uploading this video. Yeah, I've had that level 5 Caterpie the entire playthrough, and even entered the Hall of Fame. I don't know why I just didn't use it or didn't replace it.
And the guide does a pretty good job of guiding me across it. I got a Growlithe and named it Rover, and now since my Pokemon are all mostly above level 40, it means I'm ready to take on Blaine. I head in the gym, proceed to one-shot nearly everything with Vaporeon, only going back to heal because I ran out of Surf PP, and Vaporeon is also slowly overtaking Pidgeot as being the best Pokemon on my team. I defeat Blaine very easily, get the 7th gym badge, and right after Blaine,
of course, Blaine's pretty easy gym leader.
The 8th and final gym leader. It says that I should be at least level 45 at this point, and I'm close enough so I go in there anyway. But it also warns me that Giovanni has a level 54 Nidoking, which
for level 45.
Scary because that's quite.
Well, yeah, that's a huge level jump though.
Supposed to be around level 4.
Simple typo, it happens.
The guide really likes to make mistakes on Giovanni fights for some reason.
You know what? It did actually.
Since this is a 15-plus-year-old.
And I was being overcritical, and I am being overcritical right now too.
Has written many other guides and can't know everything about every game they play, but if I've never played Pokemon before and I follow this guide...
That is true though. A lot of the times these guide writers, like, they just play so many games. And it's their job to write these guides. So like, they're not going to know every single little detail about every single franchise, which is totally understandable. And we've got the final Rabble fight. Nothing too hard for us. But we do hammer away. I tried to find this guy so I could reach out to them and ask them questions about the guide.
Character Eric for no particular reason. My name's
and then it turns out he's dead. So sorry. Rest in peace, Eric, I guess.
And the first result is an obituary. Eric unfortunately passed
This is like the most unexpected twist I've ever had in any of my videos.
And now I feel kind of bad for making fun of this guide so much.
He passed away 2 years before this video came out. Maybe I should look at those other guides that Eric specifically wrote, because I have looked at other games. I made Nintendo Intended style videos of those games, like with Wind Waker and then recently with Shrek 2. The problem with having a mainly Pokemon related channel is when you make content that's not about Pokemon, people don't typically want to see it. So if I were to make a video on Beyblade V-Force or Spyro Into the Dragonfly, I don't know how receptive people will be of that.
And after researching a bit about Eric, they've done a lot of interesting work. So for the rest of this run, I'm doing it for you, Eric. I get through Victory Road.
The music too, of course.
Cheat sheet Eric wrote for us in the guide. I catch an Onix since level 46, higher than some of
I just didn't show myself catching the Onix for some reason.
I reached the end of Victory Road and decide to grind up a little bit to match some of the levels in the Elite Four. I level up all my Pokemon to around the early to mid 50s since I noticed that a lot of the Elite Four members
and I just didn't show my Pokemon being leveled up here.
And now it seems like a pretty good time to recap the team. First, we have
I never recap teams anymore.
Our starter that has been with us from the very beginning. Then we have Twitter, the Pidgeot, the first Pokemon we ever caught, and the Pokemon that carried us through the middle part of the game. Then we have Hawk, the Primeape, which hasn't really been used much since the Koga fight, but should be pretty good in the Elite Four. Then we have Dan, the level 5 Caterpie that's been with us.
Gotta love Dan. Named after A-Drive, of course, if you couldn't tell. I don't know why I just didn't switch it for literally anything.
As of lately. And finally, we have the new guy, Rocky the Onyx. I step into the first room, and the Ice-type trainer Lorelei is waiting for us. I know Hawk should be pretty useful in this fight, so I lead with him and get a few nice KOs with my fighting type attacks. Eventually, Hawk goes down, and this Jinx is a pain, just like Eric warned us about in the guide. I eventually hammer away at it with Vaporeon, and now it's time to fight Bruno. I use Twitter to take care of Bruno's fighting types, then Venusaur and Vaporeon for the rest of his team as they're weak to
all the way
grass and
around,
water,
but
and get
it's
through
fine.
him pretty easily. And then we have Agatha, arguably the hardest member of the Elite Four thanks to her 2 Gengars. I taught Earthquake to
I feel like Lance is probably harder, no?
Gengars are poison, thinking this would be a pretty easy fight, but then I remembered that Gengar and Haunter have levitated in this generation, so I can't
That's true.
use
They don't got
Grass-type
levitated
moves
anymore,
to knock them
but in
out,
Gen 3,
unfortunately. This
they do
fight
have
really
levitate.
was a team effort with everyone getting in on the action, but luckily Venusaur finishes off the final Gengar after a lot of my team members go down. I heal up, and now it's time for Lance, the final member of the Elite Four. Eric warns us about Lance's hyper.
I also noticed my music choice is a bit weird in this video.
in this generation.
I'm using some sort of remixes. I'm not exactly sure who they're from. Probably Glitch X City or Mewmore. But a lot of times the music kind of runs into different segments, which I don't typically do anymore. Usually if I go to a different segment, I have the music change as well, and I have something to reflect the segment, reflect what I'm saying. But this one, it seems like I just kind of threw stuff that like vaguely resembled where I was at. And I mean, it worked, I guess. It's my most viewed video. And we got the final rival fight, the champion fight.
I'm sure a lot of people noticed it was missing the O. But the guy tells me that my rival's gonna lead with Pidgeot, so I lead with Vaporeon since I have an Ice-type move, and take it out pretty easily, although Surf does more than the Ice-type move. The next key Pokemon go down pretty easily as well, but I have to stall out his Gyarados in the same way that I stalled out the one against Lance. And now, all that's left is Nintendo's Charizard. I decided to stay with my Venusaur even though I'm not at full health, and try to
the
finish
classic
this journey the
starter
way I
versus
can,
starter
with our
ending
starters fighting, hammering
in
away
slow
my
motion.
for one final time, just like I suggested in the first rival battle. I select my move with Venusaur, but unfortunately Charizard goes for Fire Blast and takes me out very easily.
Yeah, of
so
course.
I just send out Vaporeon and kill the Charizard instead. And that's it. We are now
Beautiful
champion,
ending.
and we beat Fire Red and Leaf Green the way Nintendo intended, thanks to Eric and his guide that Nintendo approved of over 15 years ago. Not gonna lie.
20 years ago at this point.
the end there.
That's,
I didn't end up
wow.
crying or
Yeah.
anything like that.
This game came out in September of 2004 in North America. It is
That doing a
July
vlog or
2024. So like
in a long
almost
time.
exactly 20 years in 2 months.
All for a video, I did still play on my own time over the course of a week or so, and
Yeah, I remember this video taking me longer to play than a lot of my videos I play now.
watching a show you really like, and then you finally finish.
And I guess it has to do with just me like being better as a content creator and being more efficient with how I play the games. But this one took like so much longer. Like nowadays I could confidently beat Fire Red in a day if I do some sort of challenge or some sort of other run. But this one took a lot longer.
time playing the game. I think that's part of the reason why I enjoyed this playthrough so much as well. The guide took me through a slightly different route than I normally would if I was playing this on my own, and it just made this
It did.
playthrough feel a bit
These guides also show you new things that I don't know. Even just recently with the Emerald one that I looked at recently, I forgot what it was. There's something in there that I didn't even know. All right, that is pretty much it for that video. In some ways it was better than I thought. In some ways it was definitely worse than I thought. It's just funny looking back at how I made videos 4 years ago versus how I make videos now. I feel like this video was definitely more of like a fun project, so to say, where like admittedly, and I'm trying to, you know, trim down on this, a lot of times when I make a video now, because it's my job is, you know, a lot of times I make a video and it's like, oh, this is work. But lately I've been uploading a little bit less to focus more on the fun videos like the DDR Nuzlocke, which I think the DDR Nuzlocke actually comes out after this video, but I finished editing that video today. Beating Poe with the letter T was a lot of fun. A lot of the shiny hunting related videos that I'm working on. I think this video, in terms of views, I guess you'd argue is my best video I ever made. But I genuinely think the best video that I made was the video that I uploaded, I want to say it was in December of last year. It was the shiny badge quest on Scarlet and Violet, where I went to Toronto, shined with Coop and Quick and a bunch of other people. I shined with Arlie and Elliot and John, and like it was just the most fun video I ever made. Didn't perform very well, but since that video came out, I kind of divulged a lot more into shiny hunting. I've been soft resetting for a Turtwig for literally 3 months. It's been 3 months soft resetting for a Turtwig and Platinum because I want to make a shiny badge quest video, and I want to make it legit, and I don't want to do it with speed up, but I don't want to cheat it because I don't know how else to say this, but like I've seen a lot of shiny only videos and they're definitely not legit. Of course, there are some legit ones out there, but there's a lot of the ones where it's like, all right, buddy, you did a shiny only playthrough, but only had 20 hours of game time. It's like, really? Want to do it legit. That's why I'm doing encounters on TikTok. Link to my TikTok also in the description. But yeah, that's my first ever, not my first ever video, my first big video that kind of made this channel what it is today. Looking back on it was awesome. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm sure you guys have all seen the original video. And if not, you should watch it because it's a great video. And I definitely plan on making more great videos like this. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a good rest of your day. I'll see y'all next time. And bye-bye.